Hi ladies, welcome to this installment of our Flip Professional Development. This one is going to focus on why reading workshop. So why is our district putting a focus on reading workshop for this coming year? We're going to talk about three different things, and three of these um, reasons are things that I know you guys probably already know a good amount about. We are discussing them though because part of your role as a model classroom teacher is to communicate the power of reading workshop to other teachers. And so these are some of the messages that you could share with others when we talk about why are we going in this direction. So what we're going to have to do with this is there are a couple of videos on here, but as I said in the last screencast, during the reading engagement screencast videos from YouTube, I can't get them to show on Screencast-O-Matic. So we're going to have to do the same thing that we did last time. I'm going to show you where to find the video at, and you need to push pause on this recording, go to that link that I show you, watch the video, and then come back to this video here. So the first video is going to be Lucy Calkins talking about the power of reading workshop, and I absolutely love it. Even though it's a few years old, and it is focused on slightly on our units of study, but it's more in general the reading workshop model. And she talks about the power of teachers and that there's so much study that's been done and research that's been done on what affects reading achievement. And the thing that we found is that it's the ability of the teacher. The teachers don't need a scripted program. They don't need something to follow every second of their day. They need time with kids in small groups and conferring, and they need to be allowed to use their toolbox, to use their craft and strategies that they know to help move kids forward. And then, of course, time and text is something that she hits on as well, which I'm super excited that our kids are going to have that time to get engaged in books. So this video can be found on our Model Classroom Teacher or Model Teacher Flipped PD Google Doc right here where it says Lucy Calkins video. So just click on it, and I'm not going to push play because the audio won't come through, but you're going to listen to it. You don't have to listen to the whole thing. Go up to at least 4 minutes. Again, go to 4 minutes. If you want to go past that, that's fine, but 4 minutes is kind of where I was thinking. So click pause on my video and then watch this and then go back to this video that I'm recording right now. Okay, so hopefully you had a chance to watch the Lucy Calkins video, and hopefully that helped clarify or at least reiterated what you already knew about the power of reading workshop. The next thing we're going to talk about is John Hattie, and I'm actually going to show you, if you have not read John Hattie's work, you definitely need to. We'll bring up his books real fast. This book right here, Visible Learning for Teachers, I would say it's among the top 3 books that have impacted my career. One of the other ones is Donna Lynn Miller's The Book Whisperer, but this one is probably next, Visible Learning for Teachers. John Hattie did a meta-analysis of meta-analysis, which basically means he has millions and millions of students he did research on, and he came up with the top instructional practices or just top practices. Some of them aren't instructionally related. For example, class size is something that he looked at. But anyways, top things that might impact student achievement. He came up with the ones that we need to be devoting the most of our time to. And you'll see through his video that the top 10 things that you need to be focusing on, several of those are things that we do within the reading workshop. So it has so much research behind it, not just reading workshop in general, but the strategies that you're using inside reading workshop. Then he also has another one called Visible Learning for Literacy that he wrote actually with Douglas Fisher and Nancy Frey. If you know those authors, then you know that this is good stuff. I have read most of this book. It's deep stuff, so you might read a little bit and then take a break, read a little bit and take a break, but it's another good one. I do have both of these books. If you want to borrow them, just let me know. So anyways, back to his actual video. His video can be found on our Model Teacher Flipped PD Google Doc. It is right here. Before you click on it, I want you to grab a paper and a pencil, and as he talks during the first 3 minutes, so only watch 3 minutes of the video, unless you just want to watch more, and that's great, but you only have to watch 3 minutes. I want you to write down some of the things that he talks about that are a part of the workshop model. Okay, so click pause on this and watch John Hattie's video. Okay, so hopefully you had a chance to watch John Hattie's video. Some of the things that I wrote down, let's compare to what you wrote down. Know thy impact. That is such a part of Reading Workshop because you're constantly wondering what's the impact of my instruction, and you're measuring that through small groups and conferring. It's what you're doing the majority of time in your reading workshop is, okay, what do they know? What did the impact of my mini lesson have? Or what did the impact of my small group yesterday have on their reading today? So that's huge. Another one you talked about was maybe sometimes we just need to stop talking as teachers. I think some teachers tell me that they have trouble with keeping conferring time down to conferring, and sometimes it's because they're doing too much talking. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes they're just letting the kids go on too much, or they don't have a structure to their conference. But sometimes we just need to be quiet and just listen to kids. It's such a powerful form of formative assessment that guides your instruction so much. So we're going to talk about careful questioning through our cycles that we do and how to listen to kids and use that to guide our instruction. And then another one that he mentioned that I love was students being in charge of their own learning. And that can happen, it looks different in kindergarten, but it can happen in kindergarten, certainly as we move up through the grade levels. So, and that is such a part of workshop model because every single classroom we go into, we want to be able to ask our kids, what are you working on? Well, they're reading their independent books. What are you working on? What is the goal that you specifically need to work on? It might be the priority standard for the day, or it might not. It might be maybe they're not even ready for that inferring priority standard. Maybe they just need to work on breaking big words apart. And that's okay, but they need to know what that goal is and what their progress is towards that goal. So that will be a part of the cycle that we do this year as well. So if you had anything else that you heard in that John Hattie video that I did not hit on, feel free to share that during our July 31st PD day. You can take notes right here if you want to, ask questions if you want to, in this third column here, anything that you want. Okay, so then the last big thing about why we're doing reading workshop is the power of tier 1 instruction. So what you're seeing here is an RTI pyramid. Let's see if I can make it a little bit smaller for you here. Give me just a second. There we go. A little bit too small probably. Okay. So when you hear the words RTI, I think sometimes we automatically jump to, oh, that's for our struggling readers. Oh, that's for our tier 2 or tier 3 kiddos. Have you read or heard any of Mike Mattos's work? He's an RTI guru. He talks about how there's such a misconception that RTI is just for struggling readers. RTI is for all kids. And this pyramid, or inverted pyramid, I should say, explains that. We are hitting the reading workshop model so hard because the more kids that we can meet their needs in tier 1, that's less kids that's going to go on to tier 2 or tier 3. So in tier 1, what we're working on in reading workshop, we want 60 to 90 minutes of reading instruction. Part of that obviously could be pathways, part of that could be the Words Their Way pilot, part of that could be your read aloud, but in general, at the elementary level, we need 60 to 90 minutes, and honestly, 90 minutes is the best. for reading time. That includes, again, reading workshop, phonics, word study, any read aloud, things like that as well. We want to be hitting our priority standards hard, hard, hard. There's so much research that we cannot teach everything that's in our curriculum. And when we teach too much, our kids don't go deep with their learning. So we're going to be hitting priority standards hard. If that means taking some things out of our curriculum, then we're taking some things out of our curriculum. Research-based strategies, we're going to be bringing in Sarah Valo's work and John Hattie's work and other gurus that you guys know, so that we're capitalizing on our time with kids. Systematic and explicit instruction occurs in Tier 1, and that is referring to probably most importantly phonemic awareness and phonics. So that's where Pathways comes in. That also could be referring to our word study. That's why we're doing the Words Their Way pilot, looking for a systematic explicit instruction in word study at the upper elementary. We do need to be systematic and explicit within reading workshop. It just looks a little bit differently, and it's very student-centered in that aspect. So research tells us that about 80% of our kids should be in Tier 1. If we have less than that in Tier 1, we probably need to beef up our Tier 1 instruction. So again, to summarize, I'm not sure that I'm being completely clear. So to summarize, reading workshop is important because we will have less kids moving to Tier 2 if we can make our Tier 1 as strong and research-based as it possibly can. And that's what we're doing with you guys this year. So thank you for that. Okay, so let me go back here. I believe that is all I needed to talk about with this. Please let me know if you have any questions about the why we're hitting this so hard this year, why it's so important, and why it matters to kids. Again, your role is to communicate this message, not in a necessarily an overt way, but as it comes up in casual conversations, feel free to bring up the power of that Tier 1 instruction within the RTI framework, or why reading workshop is so important to Lucy Calkins. The fact that she believes in teachers, and teachers need to have the autonomy to do what they know is best for kids. Take a look at John Hattie's stuff. Okay, so I think that is all for now. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and thanks for listening.